Graham, we've already had our first midweek of games for League One and League Two.
It's crazy. It just never seems to fail there's so many teams in this league.
They're already playing League Cup. They're already playing Johnson's Trophy. They're already playing them all. It's just, here comes the 867,000 games that involve the English Football League.
Yeah, it's just a never-ending circus shit show of fun.
Let's go ahead and start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does the EFL, a completely brief, biased recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, who stumbled all over that fucking intro. And across the way from me, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, sucking on the vape. How you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. A couple of fantastic stories from league football this weekend.
You look at some of these things, right? And it's like, okay, well, what am I going to highlight? It's like, what am I not going to highlight?
Yeah, no,
there's just constantly
there's shit everywhere.
Fucking just Wigan.
Right.
The story that just keeps on giving is who they are. It's fucking insane. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. You can also catch us live every single Monday night on all your streaming preferable platforms of preference. Man, I am all kinds of tongue-tied. My ass is already in fucking Portland. I'm already on West Coast time. My brain's
is that
fucking,
what it is?
Yeah, it's just fucking not together. I'll have to tighten this shit up later, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, shit.
'Cause it's not the preseason anymore, Sam.
Yeah, no, it is not. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
I think I got jet lag. Sorry. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Excellent. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry.
Would you
and both
please stop trying to do this? We're drinking the same shit we drank on the other show.
I know. I'm just, it's habit. It's,
know.
it's the pitch count. Got to just kind of keep going through the rotation,
Good.
You bring down the glove, you nod, and then you go into the wind up. It's just how it works for me.
Adjust your cup.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and get the fuck into it. Let's have a great show.
Yes, let's do that.
Excellent. Cheers, cheers. And, hey, Mel, you want to hit that sounder that you love to hit so much?
Championship Corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, no.
All right. Ipswich and Leicester are both 3-0-0 and sit top of the fucking table. We expect that from Leicester, but Ipswich is quite a surprise.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. Scoring a fair few goals as well, and good for them.
Yeah.
It'd
awesome.
be nice to see the other from Suffolk rather than Norfolk, but it'd be nice to see that half of the old farm up in the Premier League for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, and we're looking forward to we actually get an Old Farm Derby this year because those two have been either Prem Championship, and League One. So it's been a good 3-4 seasons, I want to say, since we've had a proper old farm. So that should be very good to see. Sunderland finally off the mark. So are like Middlesbrough got a point, and there's a few teams down around there who's finally got some points and starting to pull themselves back out, which was nice to see. Leeds get a draw, and also Leeds just keep losing people. And we talked about it on the main show already, but Tyler Adams goes to Bournemouth, and then of course you also had Jack Harrison go to Everton.
He was injured anyway, but so he wasn't really there to start the season. But
everything that we know of this team, other than obviously the younger players like Somerville and stuff like that, like this team's really not the team it was. And I'm nervous already for them.
So am I. I don't think they're going to go down again. I think they'll do enough to be able to stay in because you got to imagine Nanto and a couple other ones will be lighting the championship up soon enough.
Or if Nanto's even there.
Well, that's
Nanto's
true too. And Somerville as well. Crescencio Somerville may be going as well. But yeah, you got to imagine they'd figure out how to right the ship. But they did a lot of ill-advised business under when Bielsa was there, and I don't think they have a shit ton of money to be bringing people in.
Right,
is part of the problem.
They don't. They really don't.
They essentially just after firing Bielsa, and then just the next few coaches, just buying people to try to fix everything, and then nobody could put it together.
Yeah,
it's kind of similar, actually, what's happening to Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They have less of a squad than that, so it should be a little easier to trim some of that fat. But they got to try to keep holding on to in Somerville.
I did want to take a quick look at some of the stats so far this season. You have Armstrong and Adams for Southampton, both already on 3 goals. And then there's a couple of Hull players, too, Hull City players who are sitting on 3 goals each as well. So already starting to see some goals, certainly. People, and from there you wonder.
Accumulating goals quickly.
Armstrong, you figure, is probably staying, but the links for Adams going to Everton are really starting to take form, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens before the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all are going to need a way to score goals. I mean, Che Adams is not one that strikes a tremendous amount of fear in the hearts of Premier League defenses, but he knows that division. He's played in that division for a long time.
He's good for probably 8 goals as a backup.
Right. Exactly.
And no one's ever accused him of not having a motor.
But he works hard.
Yeah, he works hard as hell. Yeah, that's for damn sure. And only one club without a lone point so far in the championship, sitting in dead last. Team that had a lot of expectation, especially the way they got promoted. Yep. Sheffield Wednesday, not looking good.
No, it's not a great start. They'll need to drag themselves out of this quickly if they're going to want to stay in the division, because those games come thick and fast. And if you dig yourself too much of a hole, it's very, very, very difficult to get yourself out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the amount of games there are, because then you just, it's one step forward, 2 steps back.
Well, and the person that you would need to get out of that situation already had coached Sheffield United at one point. So the old Warlock.
Yeah, precisely. Well, hey, he might not have a job at Huddersfield. Maybe he decides to come back again, because that's not out of the realm of possibility for the old Warlock.
You know what I still want?
What's that?
Which would be perfect is Roy Hodgson to manage Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
The Owls.
Yes.
He's an owl.
The Owl managing the Owls.
Yeah. It'd be great.
I think he's actually going to be sticking around the whole season at Palace this year. I got to tell you, with Roy the boy.
I think he might.
Moving on to League One. 3 wins, 1 draw, no losses. Wigan sitting on 2 points at 19th place.
That's the old fucking points deduction.
and they beat one of the top teams in the league, Bolton, 4-0.
Yeah.
2 points, 19th place.
But at least they've gotten their point deduction done with early. Now they can just crack on and
it's out of
play
the way.
The rest of the football. Yeah,
it's out of the way. What you hope for them, for Wigan, is that they don't find themselves at the end of the season where those 8 points were probably necessary to get them into the playoffs.
Right.
I do think that they're probably talent-wise, and the fact that they came down from the championship, and as we've discussed, they've been a bit of a yo-yo team between the championship and League One. This is a team that will likely make the playoffs. They really will. And if they miss the playoffs, the only reason why they will have missed the playoffs is because they suffered an 8-point deduction at the start of the year.
Right.
That's absolutely going to be the case, because I think you'll see them in and around it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless, of course, they end up being a selling club in January, which, the way their money's going, they might have to be a selling club.
Yeah. Well, you would hope there's a little bit of a cup run in there somewhere, whether it be the League Cup or the FA Cup, which will guarantee them some sort of extra prize money that they don't need to, sell anybody. But we'll see what happens.
Well, and speaking of selling somebody, they've already got a guy on 5 goals. Charlie Wyke. We're going to say W-Y-K-E. Wyke, like Pike.
I like Wiki.
Wiki, that'll work too. Wiki. His Mel's doing the little scratching thing. So, great minds, Mel. Great minds. Yeah, it's so already on 5 goals. They've already got the league's leading goal scorer. That would not surprise me. The championship loves to poach a big time scorer.
In January.
From League One in January, because normally, especially a team like Wigan, that $5 million is the difference between them making their payroll or not.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
That's always been the problem with them. At the top of the table, we actually have 5 teams, all at 3 wins and 1 loss. You have Cambridge, Bolton, the Posh, Oxford, and Stevenage, all sitting right at the top of the league right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because There's a couple others that we'll talk about, obviously, that are unbeaten, but there's a lot of draws in there, so they're not doing so hot. So it would be interesting. Obviously, they're formidable outfits because they haven't lost games.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how crowded it does get at the top of that table when those teams start turning some of their draws into wins.
There you go. You know what? Let's go ahead and talk about that first, and then we'll get to Pompey at the end, because I know you said you had a fun story with them as well for Pompey. But Pompey, Blackpool, and Wigan are all three unbeaten right now, the only three unbeaten teams in League One, and they sit in 6th, 11th, and 19th respectively.
Nice. It's those damn draws, man.
Yeah, well, it's for Pompey, they're 2 wins, 2 draws, no losses, and for Blackpool, I think they're 1 win, 3 draws, no losses so far.
All right. So the fun Pompey story is Portsmouth almost had their game abandoned this weekend.
Okay, very cool.
I don't know if you heard this.
Okay, well, they did have a draw, so that was the final result. So go ahead and go into the story.
There was also 23 minutes of added time onto the second half.
Really?
Referee goes down with an injury.
Okay.
4th official comes on. He goes down with an injury.
Oh, shit.
So they almost had to call the game. Players had left the field, everything, while they were trying to sort out and figure out what to do. Stadium announcer makes a general announcement to see if there is a qualified referee.
Just to run the line?
With his FA badge to run the line, and one of the linesmen take over the center.
Right.
And there was. Local legend in Portsmouth. I think we spoke about him once as well here because it's definitely in our wheelhouse.
Is this the crazy lunatic fan?
No.
Okay.
He was one of the guys that he was the referee that booked somebody for kind of farting near him.
Love
His
it.
name is Bunny Redding.
Bunny Redding.
Didn't fancy it.
Yeah.
Just so happened there was another qualified referee.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so they asked him. He was like, nah, that's
Yeah, I'm
good.
not
I don't
doing
need,
that.
I don't
Yeah.
need to do it. I'm here watching the match. I don't need to fucking ref today.
And then in Portsmouth's hospitality area, actually, there was a qualified referee that came down, I presume borrowed a uniform, and then ran the line, finished the game running the line.
For a 0-0 draw.
For a 0-0 draw.
All that. Fuck all.
No more of a Portsmouth sentence than that.
For a 0.
We had to get a referee out of our
No
own
draw.
hospitality and still couldn't win the fucking
That's
game.
fucking brilliant. By the time this comes out, the League Cup games will have happened, I believe. Yeah, it's this week that the League Cup games happen. So we record this on a Monday. They'll happen on Tuesday, Wednesday. So we won't, and this will come out on Thursday. So we won't have known the results, but of course the League Cup will have played through. I'm really intrigued to see how League One's going to shape up as a whole, because you have so many teams. You have the teams that just came down, right? Because like Reading's now down there, and the Posh are down there, and then you also have, of course, Pompey, who's been down there for a while.
A while now, yeah.
But has always been in the playoff discussion every single year.
Yep.
You know, it's Bolton, who's seemingly working their way up the chain, but like teams like Oxford are typically in and about it all the time too. So it's like there's going to be some good teams at the end of the season that are not going to be in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be stuck another year.
Yeah, typically the third team, that third team that advances up to the championship, with the exception of like Wickham, right? Because Wickham, it was just a miracle that they had gotten promoted. But in most of those instances, normally that third team that comes up is pretty fucking decent, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be very interesting to see how that all ends up playing out.
Yeah, it definitely will. It could get very crowded, like I said, very quickly if you know they can get off the mark with those draws. It can get very crowded very quickly at the top, and you don't want to be the one caught with your pants down on the outside looking in.
All right, finally, we're going to take a look at League Two. Aki get a draw and a win, both at home, and sit in 4th place, baby.
Come on, yes.
So we're rooting for Aki
in
big
the
time.
playoff spot.
Get their asses right the fuck back up to League One.
Love it.
Even though from that conversation that I had with Ben last year, he even openly admits that they're probably more stadium-wise and facility-wise a League Two side.
Right.
But they've always done such a good job recruiting that they've always been a League One side and always in and around it. What's interesting to see is how do you keep up with the Joneses when that's the operation you run, when you've got, Hollywood money in Wrexham to just kind of, you need something, buy what you fucking need, like,
Right.
oh, we need a big fucking shirt sponsor. It was TikTok and now it's somebody else, but it's another big fucking like League Two.
Company, yeah.
League Two never gets a fucking a shirt sponsor.
Shit, some Premier League teams can't even get a shirt sponsor.
Yeah, precisely, multiple. Hey Mel, would you mind looking up real quick just who Wrexham shirt sponsor is this year? I remember seeing it. It's a big name business, and enough that they're able to get real fuck money.
Yeah.
It's not like...
You know what shirt is always near and dear to my heart?
What's that?
The Chivas de Guadalajara shirts that had the Wonder Bread on the ass. It was under the number.
Yep.
So it was the back of the shirt, bottom of the shirt sponsor.
Right on the bottom.
But it was Wonder Bread right on their ass. It was pretty funny.
Brilliant.
Well, we hope with this sponsor that the team doesn't crash and burn because it is United Airlines.
Yeah, fucking United Airlines. Like...
Well, hey, they just disappear.
That's Malaysia Airlines.
Malaysia Air.
That's right.
That would be old Cardiff. Cardiff had Malaysia Air.
Well, hopefully Alec Baldwin doesn't get drunk in the stands and threaten to shoot anybody or whatever it was. He did on that flight. Wasn't that a United flight? He got like hammered. It was like yelling at a stewardess, like, "Do you know who I am?"
I don't know. Alec Baldwin did,
but he did. Maybe I'm conflating two stories.
So maybe your joke's worse than mine.
No, I thought they were both. I conflated them. I thought he threatened somebody on the plane as well. I know he did shoot somebody. Somebody gave him a loaded gun. Yeah, during a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yep,
very
a
sad.
prop gun. A prop gun. Yep.
R.I.P.
All right. Speaking of other things you don't like, Gillingham sitting in first place at 4-0-0. Man.
I mean, they're off to a great start, and good for them.
I just like the fact that you have no real reason to hate them other than they were the rival team of a made-up team for a podcast you listen to. Good enough for me. Gillingham suck. Like, they're now the number one rivalry.
Yeah,
like that's the team now that is the one we're going to hate for League Two. It's
absolutely, 100%.
But I'm also going to remind you that whenever they win,
thanks.
Tranmere scored 3 goals twice this week. The first one is in a 3-0 victory. The other one in a 4-3 loss.
Well, yeah, and so this is the same thing with Wrexham here. Like, there's goals flying in galore in League Two,
yeah.
which we're about to come on to Wrexham.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But this is another team that's flying high and just banging them in, but can't seem to defend for the most part because they're letting in a shit ton of goals as well.
I believe that win was actually Tranmere's first win. They had a tie, a couple of losses in this win, but they were at least finally on the board. And that's one of those clubs, as you said, very old, established club. When you start to see teams in and around the bottom of League Two, you never want to see ones where you're like, oh shit, like one year it was Leyton Orient.
I know, yeah.
Fuck, the O's can't go down, right? Like, when you think of Wrexham was one of those teams that got kicked out of the professional league. You kind of look at those and you get a little nervous, and as the season kind of goes on, we'll start to see it all take shape and be like,
Yep.
Hope it's not them.
No, absolutely. I mean, they can swap spots with Gillingham anytime they'd like.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the big old 8,000-pound elephant in the room that everybody's going to talk about. Wrexham, they get their first victory, 4-2, right?
Yeah.
Then promptly score 5 goals in their next match. Problem is, Sam, other team also scored 5. And they sit currently in 15th place with, get this, are you ready for it, kids? A league best 13 goals for. And a league worst 13 goals against.
Looks like 13's their lucky number.
You know what? Ben knows how to ride a bike to work, but apparently he can't make all the saves.
Speaking of that, why is Villa making fun of Ben Foster online? What is that? Why?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Italian player came out, like their promo video had a song, and apparently that same song is used for Ben Foster. And so Wrexham thought they were being cheeky, going, Ben Foster? And yeah, that's like a little kid coming up and like poking you with a stick, and then you just backhanding him into oblivion.
That's the point. It's like, that seemed harsh. Like it's just this, prickly little club just
it's
messing around.
Like, do, poke. And then the Villa social media guy went,
The Premier League looks down and goes, Oh, that's you down there?
Yeah.
I mean, I see. Yeah, you got your Hollywood stars and all, but
So
be
what,
gone.
what
I
they
might
said was
misquote
our
it.
goalkeeper wins trophies or something, or
our
won the World
goalkeeper
Cup.
wins World Cup trophies. Your goalkeeper
Keeper rides
cycles
a-
to work.
It's like, what do you ever do to anybody? By all accounts, he's a lovely man.
everybody fucking. He has a
Jesus.
podcast. Everybody fucking loves him.
He's got a YouTube channel called The Cycling GK.
Yeah, everybody fucking loves Ben.
Apparently, legend on a night out also just gets banged up.
Oh, that makes me even happier to hear that. I
Yeah.
love hearing that.
Yeah. No idea why, but
It's a random
Like-
fuck you.
All right,
Jesus.
kids. Well, that's going to wrap up the league recap for this week. We'll be back next week to do it all again. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Yeah, I got an EFLD back, that Villa social media guy. Fucking dickhead. Just leave him alone.
Fucking
I wonder if
brilliant.
Emmy wrote that himself.
Probably. He probably walked over and was like, hey, say this. Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, hey, everybody, when you get a chance, please just take a quick second, give this show a quick review if you're listening. I know there's a good fair share of you that are checking this out as well. It just helps with promotion, everything. So if you're listening on Spotify, give it a quick 5 stars. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please do the same. Leave a quick review. 5 stars, D-back. That's all you got to do. Just put that up. But we know what that means, so we're all good. And till next week, everybody.
Night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United! Hit the fucking mute button!